25 minutes, 6 engineers, 2 million people, one impossible choice. The reactor had 25 minutes until meltdown. If 6 engineers entered that radiation zone, they would die. Certain death. But if they reached the control rooms, completed the manual shutdown, they would save 2 million people. Throughout her career, they had told Chief Engineer Dr. Rachel Kovac she was too emotional, that she relied too much on her feelings when making technical decisions, that a woman couldn't run a nuclear plant. But at that moment, in the Riverside Nuclear Station Control Center, standing before screaming alarm panels, facing a reactor core climbing toward 2,487 degrees Celsius, Dr. Rachel Kovac wasn't emotional. She was simply the only leader with the authority to send 6 people to their deaths, and she had 24 minutes left. Dr. Rachel Kovac's nuclear engineering career had begun 18 years ago. She'd graduated from MIT. Her doctoral thesis focused on reactor thermodynamics. But in 2024, things were different. No one underestimated her anymore. Female engineers were no longer exceptional. They were normal. Rachel served as chief engineer of Riverside Nuclear Station, and everyone treated her with respect. Assistant Director James Morrison, 49 years old, had managed 2 previous crisis drills. Experienced, disciplined, but fair. "Rachel, is today's maintenance schedule ready?" he asked in a professional tone. "Ready, Director," Rachel said. "Primary cooling system routine inspection, estimated 6 hours." James nodded. "Good. I'll coordinate monitoring from inside." 6 main operators staffed the control center: Chief Engineer Dr. Rachel Kovac, Assistant Director James Morrison, Senior Operator Thomas Park Control Room, Technician Catherine Lopez Radiation Safety Specialist, Dr. Benjamin Foster Reactor Engineer Victoria Chen, all professionals. All respected each other. But in 3 hours, everything would change. March 22, 2024, 14:17. Rachel reviewed routine reports in the control center. Reactor Unit 2's primary cooling system was under normal maintenance. Monitors displayed calm green lights. Then, beep, 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 sharp, urgent, relentless. Rachel's head snapped up. Red lights erupted across the main control panel. "Cooling system failure. Unit 2, primary circuit." Thomas Park sprinted to the panel. His fingers hammered the keys. "Rachel, primary cooling pump shut down, completely stopped." Rachel shot to her feet. Her pulse quickened, but her voice remained controlled. "Activate backup system, now." Thomas's hands flew across the keyboard. "Backup system starting." "No, no, no, not responding." "What?" Rachel rushed to the screen. Temperature graphs began climbing. Steep, fast, merciless. Reactor core temperature, 547 degrees Celsius, and rising. James burst into the control center. "Status report." "Primary cooling completely stopped," Rachel said, her voice flat but her heart pounding in her chest. "Backup system not responding, core temperature climbing." James's jaw tightened. "Secondary backup?" Thomas tried again. Sweat dripped down his forehead. "Secondary backup system, engaging, now." The screen flickered. New data stream exploded. "Secondary system operational," Thomas said. Rachel exhaled, her chest loosened. "Core temperature?" 612 degrees, still rising, but it's slowing. James turned to Rachel. "What happened to the primary system?" "I don't know," Rachel said. Her fingers flew across the diagnostic screen. "Pump mechanism may have failed, but secondary system is holding for now." "For now?" James's tone sharpened. Rachel looked at the screen. Core temperature, 695 degrees, slowly decreasing. "Secondary system is sufficient," Rachel said, "but we need to repair the primary system urgently." James nodded. "Get the maintenance team." But something caught inside Rachel, something bad. How long would the secondary system last? 14:32. 15 minutes later, the answer came. "Beep! Beep! Beep!" The alarm sound tore through ears. "Secondary cooling system failure." Thomas's voice turned to a scream. "Rachel, secondary pump stopped! Pressure dropping to 0! Rachel bolted to the screen. Every monitor blazed red, screaming. Reactor core temperature, 1,124 degrees Celsius, rocketing upward. "Tertiary system!" Rachel shouted. "Engage now!" Thomas's fingers danced across the keys. Sweat splashed into his eyes. Tertiary system starting. Starting. No, not starting. What do you mean not starting? No electrical feed. Backup generator is dead. Rachel's world spun. Primary system failed. Secondary system collapsed. Tertiary system, no power. 3 cooling systems, simultaneously, all of them, no. James, Rachel spun, her eyes wide. This is sabotage. James froze. What? 3 independent systems can't fail simultaneously. Someone deliberately interfered. Benjamin Foster, the radiation safety specialist, looked at the screen. His face turned ashen. Rachel, core temperature is 1,847 degrees. Critical threshold is 2,200 degrees. If it reaches that temperature, the core melts, Rachel said, her voice mechanical but her hands trembling uncontrollably. Fukushima, Chernobyl, the same disaster. James looked at Rachel, fear in his eyes. Do we have time? Rachel calculated. Temperature increase 47 degrees per minute to reach 2,200 degrees. 25 minutes, Rachel said, her voice hoarse. Maybe 24. The room froze. Then James hit the emergency button. All personnel, emergency procedure code red, level 4 nuclear event, facility evacuation beginning, immediately. Rachel turned to James, her eyes blazing. Evacuation? Procedure, James said, his voice hard but shaking. If the reactor loses control, we evacuate personnel. But the city? Rachel's voice rose, her throat tightened. There are 2 million people in Riverside, James, 15 miles away. James's face tensed, lines deepened. I know, Rachel, but city evacuation takes hours, and the reactor— Can we stop it? Rachel asked sharply. Silence. How? James said finally. Rachel turned to the screen. Her brain worked, fast, desperate. Manual shutdown. We go to the reactor control rooms and manually lower the control rods. Stop the fission reaction. James's breath caught. Rachel, the control rooms are in Building C in the radiation zone. I know. The cooling systems collapsed. Radiation leakage has started. That zone is currently 850 rem per hour, lethal levels. I know, Rachel said again, her voice flat. James stepped closer. He placed his hand on Rachel's shoulder. Everyone who enters that room dies, Rachel. Maybe they last 10 minutes, maybe 15. But radiation poisoning, it's certain. Rachel's throat nodded, but she nodded. But they can shut down the reactor. Yes, James's voice cracked. But the price is their lives. Rachel looked back at the screen. Red numbers climbing. Core temperature, 2,014 degrees, 186 degrees from critical threshold, 20 minutes. Her heart hammered in her chest, her hands trembled. How many people needed? She asked. Benjamin calculated, quickly. Reaching the control room, unlocking mechanisms, operating manual controls, lowering control rods, 6 people. Minimum, Rachel swallowed. If 6 people enter that room, can we shut down the reactor? Yes, Benjamin said, his voice quiet. But they all die, Rachel said. No one spoke. Rachel trembled, then turned to the intercom, pressed the button, her voice broadcast throughout the entire facility. Announcement to all engineers, she said, her voice shaking but clear. Reactor Unit 2 critical failure, manual shutdown required, seeking 6 volunteer engineers for radiation zone entry. She took a breath. This is a death mission. Those who enter won't return. But they will save 2 million people. Silence. Long. Heavy. Then a voice exploded from the intercom. I volunteer. Rachel turned. Thomas Park stood. Me too, Catherine Lopez said. Me too, Benjamin Foster said. Rachel's eyes filled. Tears streamed down her cheeks. 3 more. I'm going, Victoria Chen said. The door opened. 2 more engineers entered. Alex Martinez, Jennifer Zhao. We volunteer too, they said. 6 people, 6 lives, 6 heroes. Rachel looked at them, into their eyes, saw their faces. You know about the radiation, right? Thomas smiled, his eyes wet but determined. We know, Chief. But 2 million people don't know. They're home, with their children. If the reactor melts, they all die. All of them. Rachel's tears flowed, but she nodded. 18 minutes, she said. Get ready. 1447. The 6 engineers donned radiation protection suits. lead-lined garments, heavy, bulky, helmets, dosimeters on belt clips. But Rachel knew these suits were inadequate against 850 rem per hour. Toys. Maybe they'd buy 2 minutes, maybe 3. That's all. Thomas approached Rachel. "Chief," he said. He smiled. "Don't be afraid. We're doing the right thing." Rachel hugged him, tight. "I know, but still, I know," Thomas said, his eyes wet. "But this is leadership. You're leading us. We need that." Rachel looked at the 6 engineers, all ready, afraid, but ready. "Procedure is this," Rachel said, her voice mechanical, suppressing her emotions. "Enter Building C, Corridor D, reach the control room. Engage manual mechanism, lower the control rods. The reactor will shut down." "Understood," Catherine said. Rachel breathed, trembled. "You have 15 minutes. The reactor reaches critical threshold in 15 minutes. The 6 engineers nodded. Then they turned, walked, toward the radiation zone. Rachel looked at the screen. Camera feeds showed Building C, 6 figures, moving through the corridor, slow, determined, red alarm lights flashing, wildly. Dosimeters began clicking, click, 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 200 rem, 350 rem, 500 rem, 650 rem. Rachel's hands trembled. She couldn't control them. James came beside her. "Rachel, I'm killing them," Rachel said, her voice broken. "I'm sending them there. I'm killing them." "No," James said, his voice firm but gentle. "You're saving 2 million people. They are heroes. And you're a leader, doing your duty." Rachel looked at the screen. The 6 engineers approached the control room. Radiation warning signs on the walls, red alarms flashing, heavy security door ahead. "Radiation zone, authorized personnel only." The 6 heroes paused, then moved forward. The door opened. They entered. And Rachel knew they would never come out again. Control room. Building C. Thomas's voice burst from the intercom. "Chief, we're in the control room, starting the mechanism." "What's your dosimeter reading?" Rachel asked, her voice shaking. Silence. Then Thomas, breathing hard. 920 rem. "But it's okay, Chief. We'll do our job." Rachel wiped her tears. "I know. I'm proud of all of you." 10 minutes passed, stretched, endless. Reactor core temperature, 2,168 degrees, 32 degrees from critical threshold. "Control rods, lowering," Thomas said, his voice weakening, gasping. Rachel watched the screen. Telemetry began changing. Core temperature, 2,159 degrees, 2,147 degrees, falling. "It's working," Benjamin said, his voice hoarse. "Fission reaction, slowing." 3 minutes later, the reactor shut down. Core temperature, 1,692 degrees. Still hot but under control, safe. Rachel opened the intercom. Her hand trembled. "Thomas? Catherine? Benjamin? Status?" Silence. "Thomas?" Silence. Rachel's heart stopped. "Thomas, respond." Nothing. James looked at the control panel, green lights glowing. "Reactor shutdown successful." "Shutdown complete. Control rods lowered. Temperature displays 2,159 degrees, 2,049 degrees, 2,147 degrees, 2,089 degrees, falling, mission accomplished." But no one was answering. Rachel switched to the camera, control room feed, empty room, control panels, green lights, success indicators, and on the floor, scattered, 6 helmets, empty, silent, left behind. The 6 engineers had completed their work, but they were gone. Rachel's knees buckled. She fell to the floor. James caught her. "Rachel, they did it. They shut down the reactor. They succeeded." "But they died," Rachel said, tears pouring. "Yes," James said, his eyes filled. "But 2 million people will live." 2 million. Rachel's office. Late evening. Lights dim. 6 framed photos on her desk. Thomas Park, Catherine Lopez, Benjamin Foster, Victoria Chen, Alex Martinez, Jennifer Zhao. Rachel sat alone, looking at them. Her hand trembled. She touched Thomas's photo. "I'm sorry," she whispered. The door opened. James Morrison entered. "Rachel, you should go home. It's midnight." Rachel didn't look. her eyes on the photos. I can't sleep anyway. James sat beside her, silent. Every night I see them, Rachel said, her voice hoarse. Their faces, their eyes, the moment I gave the order. You saved 2 million people. I killed 6. James remained silent. There was no answer. Rachel stood, walked to the window. The city sprawled below. Millions of lights, endless, alive. Thomas had a daughter, Rachel said, her voice cracking. 8 years old. I see her sometimes at the Memorial Garden. Silence. She looks at me like I'm a hero, but I'm not, James. I'm the person who sent her father to his death. James stood, came beside her. You're the person who made an impossible choice. That's leadership. Rachel closed her eyes. Tears wet her cheeks. Leadership, she repeated. They told me I was too emotional for leadership. Maybe they were right. No, James said, his voice firm. You led. You made the decision. You carry the weight. Leaders do that. Every day, forever. Rachel touched the glass. Cold glass. Below, 2 million people slept safely, with their children, their families, their lives. I'll carry this forever, she whispered. I know, James said, his voice soft. But you will carry it, because that's what leaders do, and that is enough. Rachel nodded slowly. Outside, the city lights glowed, alive, safe, living, because 6 people died, and 1 leader lives with that choice forever.